Welcome to another episode of AniBreak, the show where we break down the week's hottest topics in anime, manga, and video games. I'm Jason, and I know, for those of you who are watching this live, it is a day behind. I do apologize. Or a day late, I should state. Yesterday, I had a massive toothache, which caused a migraine, so trying to be focused on, putting on a show yesterday just didn't work out well. Ended up actually having to go to the dentist and paid a crap load of money with a combination of pulling in some favors in order to pay for a root canal this morning. So I'm on a lot of pain meds right now, but you know what? It's still going to be fun. We're still going to have a great show. Before we start getting into the news, as Neo Street Cat in the chat goes, $2,500. Well, it was a little under $2,000 all said and done. So it's like, eesh. Let it be a lesson to you. If you need any having medical problems and you don't have insurance, it sucks. So, but we're not going to talk about that. We can talk about that more in post-show if you want. Let's talk about some of the stuff that's actually recently come in. I know I've talked lately about not only expanding, both my manga and anime collections, but also replacing some old bootlegs I bought way back when. But actually, I have a bunch of stuff that came in that is new. Like, I'm just expanding. For starters, I know I talked about this before, both on AniBreak and on From Mother's Basement. Evangelion comic tribute. This thing I told you guys was basically a huge tribute. They put a bunch of mangaka together and said, you each have a set amount of pages and you can do whatever you want within reason. Spoof anything you want about the about the entire series, whether it could be about the Avas, could be about the Angels, could be about the relationships. There are just some outrageously hilarious stuff that happens in this book. One of the big pushes that they used to try to promote this was that it had something by Koshi Rikto, who's worked on Excel Saga is the biggest thing that comes to mind. Didn't have like too many things, but he created this one image. And from right there, Shinji actually, his Unit 1 suit's actually the Ava suit. That's just a taste of what you can get in here. I mean, they do everything from straight pulling memes to turning the Avas and all the characters into dogs. I mean, it is literally some of the funniest stuff I've read in quite some time. Now, normally it's about $11, but if you actually go over to Amazon and just look for Evangelion comic tribute, this thing right now, I think, is like $6, and if you have Prime, it's free shipping. So it's well worth it at that price. You guys need to go check that out. Also, recently, I've read the light novels, but I haven't had a chance to read the manga yet. I picked up all 7 volumes of Spice and Wolf, and I've only gone through the first, I want to say, 2 volumes so far. Really enjoying it. It goes pretty, on pace with the light novels. I love the anime. I had the Blu-rays coming in eventually. I ordered those a few weeks ago. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep on reading these. If you guys haven't read those, I found a deal where I got all 7 for like, I think, $40. So you just look around and you can find deals. This one, I'm just glad I finally got it just because it's just that epic. And when I go hang out with some friends later on this weekend, I'm definitely bringing this down because they need to experience this. Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt on Blu-ray. Absolutely freaking hilarious. It's one of those that, even though the Japanese dub is amazing, they did a fantastic job on on the English dub. It actually surprised me a few times. It was that good. Oh, if you like the front cover with Panty, you can always go to the back with Stocking. And I'm not even going to try to show like I'll show one of the covers, because there's also inserts like that. That is just, it's just so worth it. It is so worth it. You can get that for about $40 to $50 depending on where you look at right now. But I want to say the last thing that actually came in was something that actually I was using to replace an old copy. recently I've been watching a bunch of sappy stuff, like Love Hina and Negima, Kashimashi. I'm like, okay, I need something to, you know, get me out of that funk. Um, and at the time I was watching Black Lagoon on Blu-ray, but at the same time I was like, I need something more. I need something like really dark, but also awesome. So why not pick up for literally $16? Brand new on 3 DVDs, Elfen Lied. Oh, I absolutely love this series. And my old one was, my old set was just, wasn't in the best condition to start off with. But this one, yeah, I mean, that was just an insta buy. So I went freaking crazy. And you know what, though? I'm kind of glad I did it at the time, because if I wanted to go on this spree, like, after today, that wouldn't happen, because I have a massive medical bill to pay off. So I have plenty of time to enjoy these things. So, oh yes. But that's enough about what's come in here, so I can read and share these with you guys. Let's get into some of the news. Let's first off, why don't we start off with The Wolf Children. We've talked about this movie before. It's Mamoru Hosoda's latest work. He's worked on some incredible stuff in the past, most notably Summer Wars, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. Great movies. Always had a high level of production quality in the animation, great storyline, fantastic dialogue. And I've been wanting to see this, and there's been a few places in the States that they actually have shown this. Granted, it was in Japanese with English subtitles, which I'm perfectly fine with. But every time there was an announcement for a showing, I was either busy or just could not make it. Well, we have a couple more announcements in terms of where you can see it stateside in a theater. This first one's actually for those of you in the New England area. So you guys on the East Coast, and you're somewhere near, MIT. There's actually going to be a screening, actually a week from today, March 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And the kicker, if you can actually get into it, is that the director himself, Mamoru Hosoda, is going to be there to answer questions. I can't remember if this is his first time actually. No, I'm sorry. He is not going to be his first time. A few days earlier on March 9th, he's going to go to the New York International Children's Film Festival to check out the premiere there as well. So if you're on the East Coast, go check this out. You're going to have a fantastic time, and you get to meet the director possibly. That's win-win. But for those of you, here on the West Coast, you're thinking, well, how does this help me? I mean, are we just going to have to wait for the Blu-ray? Well, thankfully, Funimation's already made the announcement. They acquired the rights to the film, and they're going to release it on video, most likely DVD and Blu-ray, sometime this year. That could mean this summer. That could mean December 31st. Who knows? Sometime this year. But the best part about Funimation's announcement, it will be released sometime this year in selected theaters across the country. So, I mean, it's kind of cool that we're starting to see more and more of this coming stateside. Things like they had the Mass Effect Paragon Lost movie at a couple locations. The Madoka movie was spread like wildfire all over the freaking country. Little things like this. I love the fact we're starting to get more anime in theaters. Granted, there are these one-time things, or sometimes they last maybe a week, but you know what? Still fantastic. I absolutely love it. So you guys want to check that out. If you're on the East Coast, it's at the New York International Children's Festival on March 9th. And then on March 14th, it's going to be at MIT. And Mamoru Hosoda, the director, is going to be there. So if you're on the East Coast, go check it out for us, please. It's going to be incredible. Let's jump up to a Ghibli film. I'm not going to talk about the two new movies that are going to come out later on this year. I know Miyazaki's hard at work, along with the rest of Studio Ghibli, working on those. And we'll talk about those probably next week. I want to talk about a little bit older Ghibli film. One that Miyazaki helped with the script, but actually did not direct. We're talking about From Up on Poppy Hill. This one, from what I can tell, it had a decent run in Japan. And it still sounds interesting. Now there is we've talked many times before about a company called G Kids, which has acquired the rights to a lot of these Ghibli films that Disney actually hasn't gotten the rights to, some weird thing like that. And they're going to release them theatrically. Well, this one, I believe, is their first one off the bat. They are putting like all of their work and effort into this one movie for the beginning. They're doing a full English dub. They have actually a pretty decent cast, or pretty varied cast. I mean, I'm seeing from everything from comedian Jeff Dunham. You have Gillian Anderson of X-Files fame. You have Christina Hendricks, Beau Bridges, Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Noth, Bruce Dern. I mean, they're throwing a bunch of people into this. I mean, hell, even Ron Howard has a voice role in this upcoming movie. So they're throwing their best work at this one movie, and it is going to be released in theaters. You can actually check it out for yourself. I believe the initial run's only going to be the English dub. I'm hoping that you'll find some places that will actually allow you to watch it in the Japanese dub with English subtitles. We'll have to find out for that. There is a trailer out of the English dub. You can go check it out online. It's on YouTube. You can find it in your usual places. But I will say this. The animation quality, I mean, that's classic Ghibli, style. It looks even though I said classic Ghibli style and it looks amazing, it looks a lot better than Goro Miyazaki's other film that he directed that shall not be named, that we're not going to talk about. I'm hoping this one is better. I'm sure I can probably go online and get a DVD or Blu-ray of this film already and have it imported. But you know what? I'm going to wait till I can see it in theaters. And I'll let you guys know if you guys want to join me and you're in the area. We'll, go out, talk about it, make a night out of it. It'll be fun. So, yeah, that's coming out pretty soon, March 15th. So, again, there's a lot of good stuff coming out. I mean, you have From Up on Poppy Hill. You have, on the East Coast, you also have Wolf Children. Yeah, good stuff. Cannot wait to check out both of them. Let's talk about some new anime coming up. We already had a slew of anime start in January. The next set of titles are starting to showcase a bunch more trailers because they're going to start up in April. So you have less than a month before their start. And this next one I'm going to show is actually called RDG, or Red Data Girl. Kind of an interesting one for this one, to be honest. I think it's I'll say it's unique, and it's one that just by watching the trailer has gotten me interested enough to check out the fantasy novels that they're based on. So yeah, let's check out the latest trailer for Red Data Girl. I will say this right off the bat. PA Works, the studio behind the animation, always does great stuff. I'm looking forward to it. It didn't give too much of the story into that trailer. Let me explain what happened. The main girl is Izumiku Suzuhara. She's a 15-year-old girl who was raised at a local shrine, and she has this odd thing where she destroys any electrical device that she comes into contact with, as you saw with the TV. Even though she's really shy, she wants to give a shot of living in the city, which is kind of odd because the city's where all the electrical devices are at. Okay. So she goes to this place. Someone recommends a certain high school, and she's accompanied by a childhood friend. And you see that shadowy figure that was in the trailer itself. That's an entity named Himigami. And you find that, well, Suzuhara is actually a vessel for a Shinto spirit, and the childhood friend is like a warrior that's been tasked throughout the years to protect her. So it's definitely not going to be your typical, high school slice of life, comedy. It actually sounds kind of interesting, to the point where, like I said, I watched that in another trailer, and I went, okay, I want to check out the fantasy novels these were initially based off of. I don't believe there was actually a manga adaptation, because PA Works actually worked on the original character design. So It kind of looks cool. It starts April 4th in Japan. I believe Crunchyroll is actually has acquired the rights to stream it stateside, so we'll see what happens. Speaking of, I want to talk briefly about Imo Season 2. We already talked about it last week, how I'm like, yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to start in April. Someone needs to freaking make an announcement who's going to pick it up. Aniplex of America has come through. They not only announced they have the rights to stream it via partnership with Crunchyroll, so you'll see it on there, both Seasons 1 and Season 2, but they'll also come out on a DVD and or Blu-ray at a later date. So that could mean later this year, could mean most likely Q1 of 2014, given the way things are. Let's just hope that the box set for Season 2 is nowhere near as expensive as Season 1, which is, what, $150 for Blu-ray? Or if you don't want to spend that, you can get the entire Season 1 on DVD for, I think, $50 online right now. Okay. I had to laugh at this. I had to freaking laugh about this next bit. There is a new app that's available for iOS devices in Japan. It's an app by Dominos Pizza. And you're thinking, well, all the pizza companies have apps. What's this so, different? This one teamed up with virtual idol Hatsune Miku. It's a Miku pizza app. And here's just a couple of the screenshots. I had to show a few of them. Yeah. Not only will this app allow you, with Miku's help, to actually order, pizza, but also you can do a number of other things. Like, you'll get a specially designed pizza box that has this, unique cover. And if you use that app with that pizza box, you can have Miku perform on your phone a number of songs and dances that I guess were kind of worked in part and partial by some Domino's staff. That's kind of the odd thing there. I'm like, you have a Domino's pizza person who's bought them pizza, or it's some weird thing. So yeah. So from now through May 12th, people in Japan, they can use this app. They can actually get the special edition Hatsune Miku boxes. Now, here's the funny part about this. You can actually get this app stateside. You go into the iTunes store, just look up Hatsune Miku Domino's Pizza. You'll find it. You can download it and get through, all the cool things, see Miku, making pizza and whatnot. However, that being said, it does not work with anywhere else in terms of buying, or actually ordering pizza, unless you're in Japan. So you can download the app if you want and check it out. Hell, if you wanted to use, I'm sure there'll be some people who either probably scan and print out the specially designed cover for the pizza boxes, or maybe even import a pizza box themselves. Who knows? Just to check out, her dancing. And of course, with the tie-ins, there's always a number of things you can buy. There's there's some crazy ones. You got your typical lineup, some DVD and Blu-rays from current concerts, or recent concerts, I should say, from Japan. I'm sure there's a number of, cell phone straps and, little patches and whatnot. But I think the oddest tie-in that I've seen so far in terms of merchandise that you can buy for this Miku Domino's Pizza thing is this. You can buy a motorized delivery bike. I'm looking at this, I'm going, who in the hell has that much money to get that? To get a skinned little scooter? I'm like, yeah. Oh, I don't know. This thing is... It is funny as hell. Now, granted, like I said, you can download this stateside if you wanted to check it out. It's all going to be in Japanese. There is not an English version. So, either you know how to speak Japanese, or at least read it. I'm trying to learn it myself right now. It is only limited to iOS devices, so those of you who have Android phones and tablets, you're kind of SOL at the moment. So sorry about that. Okay, I had to throw that in there just because it's funny as hell. I will say this: after the show, go online, find the official YouTube video that has the CEO of Dominos Pizza Japan, which is just this old white guy, typical CEO character. Try to get people excited about this app, and it is, I swear to you, one of the funniest things you will see this week, because you can already tell that, one, this guy has no freaking idea what he's saying. And the smile he has is just icing on the cake. So you guys gotta check it out. It's like a couple minutes long. You can find it online. Or people like the Char could probably throw it in the chat. There you go. Thank you very much, Char. Okay. The other bit of Miku news is something from SEGA that we all should be happy about. It is about damn time. Ever since Sega's been, seen basically teasing U.S. fans by showing Hatsune Miku Project Diva on the PS Vita at their booth at E3 last year, people are wondering, are they going to bring a stateside version? And then Sega came out and released Project Diva F, which is the PS3 version in Japan. And still no word. Hey, what the hell? Are you going to bring this stateside or not? Yes, you can import it because the region code, between Japan and the US is exactly the same. And because games are not region locked on the PS3, you can actually import it for $70 to $100. But here's the kicker. Sega on their Facebook page just showcased this image. This is completely legit. If you go to their Facebook page, look for Sega's Facebook page, and you see this image, not only do you like it, but you also share it if you want a localized port of Project Diva F for PS3 to come to North America and Europe. And last I checked, it was close to, I think, like 8,000 shares and over 10,000 likes. Yeah, you guys need to do this like now. If you have any problems, again, people in the chat have already popped it in there. If you're watching this on YouTube, go to my Facebook page, which is OtakuLife Jason, and you'll see the image there, and just like and share and be a part of this and tell Sega we want this damn game and the continuation of the franchise stateside. It'd be amazing to have these. I'm not one to usually pay, full price $60 to play a game. I'll pay $60 for this game. For those of you who don't have, Facebook, you only have, use Twitter or Google+. As far as I know, this little bit about trying to get Project Diva F stateside is only on Facebook, so sorry. All right, had to throw that in there because it damn well better happen. We're going to jump into some video game news. Let's start off with a classic. Let's start off with Shenmue. You guys remember Shenmue? I mean, we're talking back in the day Dreamcast. I mean, I still have my copy. It's up in my my closet right now. And the creator, Yu Suzuki, created this absolutely amazing game. And of course, it had a sequel, Shenmue 2, that was also on Dreamcast, but I believe was also ported over to the original Xbox, not the Xbox 360. I could be wrong about that. But the problem being is that this was always designed to be a trilogy. When you get to the end of Shenmue 2, not to give anything away, you're expecting a continuation. You want Shenmue 3. This has been, people have been begging for this for, I would say, the better part of a year, if not I would say actually a better part of a decade. Because, Shenmue 1 came out on the Dreamcast in 99. The sequel came out, I think, a year later. Now, there was a social game called Shenmue Gai, which was released a couple years ago in Japan, but it was nothing like a actual continuation of the game. The reason why we're bringing this up is because the creator of this series, Yu Suzuki, was interviewed recently. And he actually stated that he is possibly interested in going the crowdfunding path to actually fund Shenmue 3. So hopefully the fact that he's teasing about this in an interview, a recent interview, is not just, hey, I'm just going to troll you, but this is actually, hey, put the world on notice. There might be a Kickstarter that's going to pop up. The moment that happens, I will let all of you guys know, and all your money. Just throw all your money at this, and it'll be amazing. What else we have going on? There's a couple. There's a couple iOS games I picked up recently. One was Sonic Dash. You can get it for like $2 on the App Store. It's quite fun actually. But the other one that I picked up, that if you have an iOS device, it's you need to actually buy this game. Ever heard the name Suda51? He's worked on a number of things, a number of games if you enjoyed. Always kind of off kilter, I guess you can say. I mean, games. I remember back playing. I think it was Killer 7 on the GameCube was one of his first games I started playing. A lot of fun stuff. But he teamed up with Level 5. They're most recently famously known for working with Studio Ghibli on Ni no Kuni. They worked on a game for the 3DS called Liberation Maiden. And it's like $8 on there for the 3DS. If you have that, get it, cool. But if you're like me and have an iPad but you don't have the 3DS, they finally released Liberation Maiden for iOS devices. So, and the great thing though, if you have an iPad, it's not like, hey, it's an iPhone app you have to expand. No, it takes up the full screen. It's amazing. Let me give the intro real quick. You're put in control of this girl named Shoko Ozura. She's the second president of New Japan, and she has to use this mech to basically liberate her country from invaders. It is a shooter. It has some incredible animation. I'm going to show the opening before I get to the actual gameplay. And you'll notice that the quality of this gameplay is, both the gameplay and the animation, is superb. I mean, it looked like they spent a little more time when they ported it over from 3DS to iOS devices. It looks damn good. I cannot wait to continue playing. I've already played the first 3 chapters on my iPad, but let's start off with the intro, and then we'll get to the awesome gameplay. How awesome is that? I mean, the animation quality is so good there, and of course it's because it's by Studio Bones, so I'm fully expecting epic stuff from them. Let's get into some of the gameplay. I'm going to showcase a little bit of it. It has full voiceover work in English. I didn't see an option for for Japanese yet, so I will say though that the controls they could be a little better. This was designed initially for a really small screen where you can control with your left thumb, and then use either your finger or the stylus to tap on the screen and actually create combos, go after your enemies, all that jazz. But especially, and it probably works well with the iPod and iPhone, but with the iPad, it's a little cumbersome because you have to use your thumb in a big area to try to move around, and then try to hold it and balance it as you're tapping and sliding all around. That being said, though, you do find a happy medium and you get comfortable with it. It is a lot of fun. It is very well designed, I will say that. It is a little pricey if you get to your typical apps. This is not some 99-cent app. No, this is $4.99. It's for all iOS devices, iPod, iPhone, and an iPad. If you have a 3DS, you can download it in the eStore for the Nintendo 3DS. I believe it's $7.99. No word yet if this game's actually going to come to Android devices. Who knows? It kind of seems that sometimes Android devices get like the short end of the stick when it comes to ports, which, I feel you on that if you have an Android phone, because I have an Android phone, but I have an iPad, so I kind of get away with it. But then again, not much. So you can find it online. It's called Liberation Maiden. It's by Suda51 and Level 5. It looks good. It looks it's a hell of a lot of fun. I've already played 3 different levels. Go check it out. Okay. Before we get to the last bit of news, I just want to say thank you guys for, I know we had to jump 24 hours to do the show live today on Thursday instead of Wednesday. Starting next week, we'll be back to our normal time, which is Wednesday at 7 p.m. Okay, time for our last bit of news. which is actually going to be a guest announcement, I should say. And we're going to talk about Japan Expo USA. They have teased for a while that they're going to work on a website. They're going to have a first guest come out, and I was looking forward to it. It looks great. They finally, launched the website a little later than expected. They said sometime in January, and now it's March. They finally, a couple months. I'll give them that. It's their first year. And it's a fun little website, but they finally announced yesterday their first guest. And it, of course, ties in with what they've been teasing for weeks, if not months now, is the same person who's working on the design for their poster, which I'm sure will go on shirts and whatnot, and I'll buy a bunch myself. So, the organizers of the new Japan Expo First Impact, as they're calling it, they will host manga creator and character designer Yusuke Kozaki. Now, this guy has worked on some fantastic pieces of work, not only just in anime, but also in video games. Let's talk about the video game portion. He was a character designer for the No More Heroes franchise. More recently, he designed characters for Fire Emblem Awakening. So if you guys are playing that on your 3DS, I know there are people who have spent 90 plus hours on this game so far. You're probably, you probably have some emotional ties to some of his characters that he designed. He's also worked on a number of, let's talk the anime side. He worked on a bunch of character designs for, and I believe I have one of my DVD copies here, if you guys remember it, Speedgrapher, among other titles. So this guy already has a boatload of quality work under his belt. I cannot wait to see what else he's going to be working on. He actually worked on a virtual idol duo called Meow for Star Child Records. You probably haven't heard that too much, but I've seen it from here and there. But yeah, he's going to be at Japan Expo USA. That is going to be at the Santa Clara Convention Center, which is from August 23rd to 25th, about nearing the end of summer this year. So, I mean, it's in Middle California. It's an amazing place. You get to meet people like this. You get to see this great mangaka, great character designer. And this is only their first guest. I mean, I'm not trying to fawn over them just because I know people who are working for it. But I will say this. Because the people who are running Japan Expo USA have been teasing this guy's announcement for some time now, every time they made a tease on their Facebook or Twitter, I would ping, one of the people who are running it and go, is it this person? Is it this person? What the hell? Give me something. And they'll just laugh and say, you have to wait. So I'm actually honestly excited for it. I hope you guys are too. Japan Expo is going to be definitely a permanent stop on my con list for the year. So that is going to happen at Japan Expo USA. And yeah, I think it's going to wrap it up for this episode of AniBreak. We went through a bunch today. I'm very glad that we actually got through what we did. I know we started a little bit later, but I know there's other similarly themed shows that happen around the same time frame, so I wanted to wait a little bit to get you guys to come back over for that as well. So thank you very much. Stay tuned for a short post show. And yeah, for AniBreak, I'm Jason. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.
Continue touching